Mali's resistance to French colonization was a significant chapter in the broader struggle against European imperialism in West Africa during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. This resistance involved both military campaigns and diplomatic efforts, led by various local leaders who sought to defend their territories and maintain sovereignty. Key figures and resistance movements. Samori Ture, center, one of the most prominent leaders of resistance against French colonial forces. He was the founder of the Wassoulou Empire, a large West African state that extended into parts of modern-day Mali, Guinea, and Ivory Coast. Samori Ture led several military campaigns against the French, starting in the 1880s. Using guerrilla warfare and mobile tactics, his forces were well-trained and armed. Despite his efforts, Ture was eventually captured by the French in 1898, marking the end of a major phase of resistance. However, his legacy as a symbol of anti-colonial struggle endures throughout. Another key leader in the resistance was El Hadj Oumar Tall, who founded the Tukulur Empire in the mid-19th century. Although Oumar Tall died in 1864, before direct French colonization in Mali began, his successors continued the fight against the French. His empire, which stretched across parts of modern-day Mali, Senegal, and Guinea, fought multiple battles with French forces in the 1870s and 1880s, though they eventually succumbed to superior European military technology. The Siege of Sikasso, 1898. Sikasso, a major city in southern Mali, was led by Thieba Traoré and later his brother Babemba Traoré. The rulers of Sikasso fiercely resisted French control. The siege culminated in 1898 when French forces, after several attempts, were able to breach the city's defenses. Babemba Traoré, refusing to be captured, is said to have committed suicide, a move symbolic of defiance against colonial subjugation for Kenedugo Kingdom. This kingdom, ruled by the Traoré dynasty, was another important center of resistance, notably in Sikasso. The kingdom had managed to maintain its autonomy for many years, but was finally subdued by the French in the late 19th century, French colonial expansion. The French began their incursions into what is today Mali in the mid-19th century. They aimed to expand their control over the resource-rich region, using a combination of treaties, coercion, and military campaigns. The French were particularly interested in securing trade routes and gaining control over the Niger River, a key economic artery in West Africa resistance tactics. Guerrilla warfare. Many Malian leaders, such as Samori Ture, used guerrilla tactics, avoiding direct confrontation with the better-equipped French forces. They would often use their knowledge of the local terrain to launch surprise attacks on French troops. Alliances and diplomacy. Some leaders attempted to form alliances with neighboring kingdoms or negotiate treaties with the French to maintain autonomy. However, these agreements were often violated or manipulated by the colonial powers' impact and legacy. The resistance movements in Mali were ultimately overwhelmed by the superior military technology and resources of the French, including their use of advanced weaponry and military organization. By the early 20th century, the region was fully integrated into French West Africa, and Mali became part of the French colonial empire. However, the memory of resistance remained strong, and figures like Samori Ture and Babemba Traoré are celebrated as national heroes in Mali. Their resistance laid the groundwork for the eventual anti-colonial movements of the 20th century, which culminated in Mali gaining independence from France in 1960. The resistance against French colonization also contributed to the development of a sense of national identity and pride, which would later fuel Mali's struggle for self-determination.